One, be absolutely certain that you want to do this. Do not do this because it'll sound cool or it looks cool or I'll make money or, oh my God, I'll get babes or any of that nonsense. Do it because you genuinely want to do it. What's your podcast called again? I'm so sorry, I forgot. I'm so no. It's two sides something. I'm so sorry.
Two time zones. Two time zones podcast.
Two time zones. Sorry. Yeah. Sorry. I apologize. Let's begin.
All right, you guys. We're gonna be going live in 3, 2, 1. You guys, as you can see, I couldn't do the whole swoosh slap because I fucked my finger up. I was fighting 4 wolves. Jon Snow was dead. I did what I could. I had to sacrifice my finger, to get out of that. But
we tried to stop you. I don't know why you wouldn't stop. I said Jon Snow is not important.
I agree, Dino. I agree. And speaking of Dino, he's our guest today. He's an RJ. He's been doing this since forever, and apparently he looks a lot younger than he actually is, and I'm just impressed.
We're not gonna say how.
Yeah, of course, we can't let the world know.
Yeah, I'm not the world, dude. I'm just gonna, dude. Your skin's glowing, dude. Koi see nahi hai. Like you're really up there.
Can I give you a tip? Can I give a tip for everyone?
Yeah. Let's start.
I'm serious. I'm not kidding. It's the truth. Obviously, drink lots of water. I drink about 2 liters of water every night.
Okay.
So that's one thing. But use olive oil. Take like a few drops of olive oil every night before you go to sleep. Rub it all over your skin and go to sleep. I'm being serious. It helps.
What about aloe vera? I have this aloe vera gel lying on my fucking bed.
Dude, I don't even know how to spell aloe vera.
Aloe vera is nice.
I don't even know. I don't know what to say. Yeah.
Oh my God. But guys, he's a massive RJ. He really knows how to host a show, and hopefully, just like Sophie, he'll masterclass us on how to host a good podcast, because we clearly need some fucking tips. Salman, take it away.
Yeah. So Dino, listen, you're multi-talented as hell. From what I can tell, you're an RJ. You've made your name on the radio, but you've also, I believe, released a movie last year. You just came out with some songs after 10 years, which is just awesome. Yeah. And on top of that, you've told us you're a foodie, so I'm really excited to see where all of this takes us. But the first thing I want to talk about is the one story that we started but didn't get to finish before the podcast started, and that is the story of the bad guests you've had on. We were talking about how guests can be a pain sometimes. We've had podcasts where they don't send us video files of themselves. Yeah. What's your experience been like?
Dude, where does one begin? I could just go on and on.
Dino, just fucking let it rip. Just let it rip with the worst one. Just let it rip,
I'll tell you.
And we'll go from there.
Each guest brings something to the table, so I'm not gonna completely shit all over them. I think every guest has something that they bring to the show. So I will say this much though, that guests sometimes. I as an artist myself, I can understand they must be going through something. So I've met guests who have been very good guests, and then when I've met them somewhere else, they act like a completely different person. They're in a different zone, in a different mood, So, but I think there was this one guest, I'm not going to name, but there's this one guest who, I don't know why though, because it was funny. His team gave me how a guest would come on the show and their PR team would give you a whole a proper book on who they are, what they've done, and all of that. And his PR team gave me a whole lowdown on who he is, what he's done, and all of that. And when he came onto the show and I was on air live and I was asked, saying these things to him, so we've read that you've done this and this. He kept denying everything. It was weird. So we've heard that you wrote this back in 94 or whatever. And he's like, no, I didn't. I'm like, dude, either your PR team sucks or either you're just messing with me. And he kept doing it throughout the show. And I'm looking at him going, dude.
No fucking way.
What's wrong? And then off air, funny enough, when he comes off air, he goes, I didn't want to say, but what, you don't have to mention that I did this. I'm like, then why are you denying it? It's not like asking that you have secret sex tape or something. I'm asking you whether, you know what I mean, that you did this, whatever. So there are guests who just act difficult sometimes. But, as a presenter, because I've been doing this for so long, I guess my whole take on it is that, everybody's a human being, and everybody is just a person who could have had a bad day. So just treat them with like respect, do their show with them. If you honestly, if they're that difficult, probably not invite them again, but just like, just do the show with them and get it
But
over.
Dino, what the fuck would you do when a guest doesn't even give you a video file? Let's say you're in our position. We've had a guest do that. What would you do, bro? What would you do? That same guest giving you shit for not knowing who he is. Because we asked him the same questions we asked you, like, what have you done and all these. How the fuck do you not know what I've done? I'm like, oh my god, where do I even begin, bro?
Dude, I don't even know. Like, that's a very tricky situation. Like, if I didn't interview with a guest and I'm waiting for them to give me that video file and they didn't give me that video file, I mean, you know what? I'm just too nice, I guess. I wouldn't like call them out for it. I wouldn't like. You know what I would do though? If someone ever mentions their name in front of me, then they'll get an earful of something about them. But I wouldn't publicly say anything about that person, I guess, because we're all in this. I don't know. Maybe I've been raised differently. Maybe I just feel that we're all in the same industry. It doesn't make sense to just openly say it about unless they've done something completely unforgivable. Absolutely, then you set them straight. But I mean, I would be like, okay, fine, I'm not gonna deal with this person anymore and just move on.
Oh, all right.
That 100%.
You look disappointed. You thought I was gonna say something. I loved his face. You're like, oh, acha, okay.
See, Saad likes that aggressive approach.
Saad
right?
looks like he wants to have a pardana with someone.
he was really excited.
Again, I fought off 3 wolves. What can you expect? My testosterone's pumping through my veins. What can you expect? I'm just that guy. I'm that guy who'd grab you by the neck and beat the shit out of you.
Yeah. Oh wow.
Okay, chill, bro. Chill. I get that you're cool.
Like a Wolverine berserker rage. I get it.
Yeah.
Okay, now that we've established that Saad is a really cool guy who's really badass, I want to move on to the next question, the topic, which is the fact that, you've been in, the radio, music, you've dabbled in movies. What's your favorite medium and why?
You know what? Honestly, dude, I've worked in so many different platforms and so many different places. I mean, I've worked in Pakistan since I was 16. Then I moved to London, where I worked for the BBC. So that was like a different level of medium. And I worked in radio in Pakistan. I did radio abroad. I did TV here, did TV abroad, did music, have done events. I've produced stuff. I've done editing. I've done I love working on different mediums. But if there's one medium that I could honestly say still brings me some form of happiness, it would be radio. Honestly speaking,
for sure.
Because it's just because you know what? It's just so pure, dude. It's just me on a mic. I walk in, I do my thing, I walk out. And there's somebody on the other end who just listens to my show and takes my words and imagines something or the other, and I build a situation.
I feel like, Dino, sorry to cut you off, but I feel like that was kind of a dumbass question from Salman's end, because you literally do the radio, like right now, like you had buttload of experience. You wouldn't be doing something you wouldn't like obviously.
But dude, I completely understand his question. I completely understand. You know what, like over time, like I've been doing TV since I was 17, 18. So I did MTV, I did Indus Music, I did BBC, I did different work. So I've worked on a lot of different mediums, and at some point you do get, I wouldn't say bored by it, but it doesn't give you that fulfillment that you would get initially when you start doing something. You're just you're going and just picking up your check. It's literally you're doing for the paycheck. You're not doing it because it gives you any artistic fulfillment.
Okay.
And that's probably the reason why I didn't do music for 10 years, because it's just like I'm making songs, people are liking them, but like, do I really want to keep doing this? So I gave it up for like so many years, and then recently I started getting back into it because I felt like, oh, I missed this and I wanted to do this. But radio was the only thing that was constant, the one thing that I missed. Like if I didn't do radio for 3 months, I would miss it. I haven't done TV in about 6 months, 7 months, and I'm okay. Like I don't miss it. You know what I mean? So so I get the question.
Salman, when we took that 3-month break, did you miss coming on the podcast? Because I feel like I
missed the podcast. I didn't miss you. Straight up.
I mean, feelings mutual. The feelings mutual, buddy. The feelings mutual.
Come on, man.
I missed you a little bit, bro.
Yeah, a little bit. But like, Again, Dino, I completely agree with you. I did miss the podcast, but obviously not to the extent that you love the radio. The podcast is just something that, Salman and I just do to get to know people. We have a completely different agenda behind it. But I love how you're just like, so attached to the idea of like, just coming in, spilling words of wisdom, and then hopefully somebody on the other end would just take it in and just, go with it. I love that, bro.
And it's so... There's something so organic about that, dude. There's no literally right now I'm wearing like a pair of chappals and a pair of worn down jeans and like a hoodie, and I've dressed worse than this. Like when I'm on radio, like I'm not even kidding. Like I've literally, there've been times when I literally wore a t-shirt and a pajama. Wala bhi pajama nahi hota jisme button wala pajama hota hai. In the front, the proper sone wala pajama. Literally, I used to walk in to the radio and do my show like that, and I used to think, yaar, this is the easiest job in the world because there's no glamour. There's nobody running around trying to make you look good. There's no, there's no gimmick. There's no nothing. It's just me, a mic, a room. I sit in, I do my show, and I leave. And I could talk about anything I want. Like the best part about working, at least I've been lucky that I've worked for radio stations where they've never told me what to say. When usually shows are designed like that. But I've been lucky where, I've done shows where my boss has always just let me run with it. So yeah, I mean, it's fun.
Hey, that is really cool. And I can see a bit of a difference where me and Saad do this, like 100% we did this because like it was the pandemic and I was like, I want to meet you people. How do I do that? Saad was like, let's start a podcast. I was like, he said it as a joke. I was like, let's do it. And there was like this pause of silence and he was like, okay.
Nice.
And then the pandemic project became into something much bigger, and now we're here, Dino. Episode number 80 something. I don't even know. It's crazy. And Dino, here's the thing. If we hadn't started the podcast, we would have never met you. Or we would have not met you for like a long time at the very least. Okay? We get to meet people from all across the planet, and I'm just happy that we even started. What's
That's awesome, right?
And we've been asking this from other people who are in your position. You're fairly successful. What's the one piece of tangible and advice that you can give to somebody who wants to get into the radio industry right now? A kid, 16, 17 years old, who wants to get in.
Yaar, any industry, chahe wo TV ho, radio ho, music ho, any industry you want to be in. Okay, I'll give you two pieces of advice. And these are, I genuinely mean this. Like, I know that when I say this, people are like, what kind of advice is that? But I'm just going to say, one, be absolutely certain that you want to do this. Do not do this because it'll sound cool or it looks cool or I'll make money or, oh my God, I'll get babes or any of that nonsense. Do it because you genuinely want to do it. And what I mean by that is, that if you genuinely want to do it, you will be able to face the rejection. You will be able to face the 100 no's. Which you will get, by the way. You'll be able to face all the hardships that this industry, the media industry as a whole, gives you. Because no matter what side you are on, whether you're in production or, whether you're the star or whether you're the, the investor, whatever, whoever you are, if you enter the world of media, you are going to face a lot of hardships. So be absolutely certain that you want to make it. This is what I want to do. Because if you have that belief, only then you'll end up somewhere you want to be, or at least somewhere you will need to be. The second piece of advice would be that be consistent. A lot of kids that I meet, like I met this kid, so I know a lot of people, and I mean this, like a lot of famous people who, before even getting their first big break, had been working in the industry for like years. Like I'm talking 5 years, 10 years, 5 years the minimum, like 10 years, 8 years, whatever. And this is not just here, I'm talking abroad. Like this is just a standard that if you join this industry, it takes you a while, unless you're one of those rare cases where you become an overnight star, whatever. That's like rare. But majority of people, it takes time. So there's this kid I met who was sitting with me, and he was like this. He was like, Dino bhai, oh my God, life is so tough. Life is so hard. I'm like, dude, what's wrong? And he genuinely looked upset. I was like, what's wrong? He's like, Dino bhai, oh my God, life is so tough. I don't know what to do. My family hates me. And, no girl will marry me. I don't have money and this and that. And I was like, I've been struggling for so long. I've been struggling for so long. What do I do? Like, he wanted to be an actor. And I was like, and I felt bad for the kid. I was like, okay, so like, and I asked him, I was like, how long have you been struggling for? How long has this kid been struggling for?
3 months.
2 years?
3 months.
3 months.
2
3
years.
months. 2 years.
Okay.
2 years. Okay.
Yeah, that's understandable.
You know what I mean? Like, but 2 years though, dude. Come on, really? Like,
Well, but also, I respect that. Like, I respect you more now because 2 years is still a lot of time, even to me. Like, if I spent 2 years and I got nothing out of it, I would probably feel that way. Like, I'm not saying he was in the right, but I'd feel that way for sure.
Dude, you know, it's okay to feel bad. I get it. But, you know, you cannot say that 2 years is a very long time in terms of, I mean, okay, so this kid had already done ads. This kid had already done events. This kid had already done extra work. He had done work, but what he meant was that he hadn't been a star yet. Do you know what I'm saying? Like he's,
Yeah.
you know what I mean? Like, uski sochiye ki, oh, it's been 2 years. Where is my Oscar kind of like thing? And I'm like, bro, it takes time. You need to keep at it. Consistency. So what he did, when I told him that, dude, it takes time. It takes a while. You'll get your chance and this and that. He got so disheartened that he left like what he was doing. Now he's doing some sort of business and he left this industry altogether. But the minute he left this industry, people started calling me and asking me about him, asking me where he is. We want to give him a chance. We want to give him this. People want to hire him for like supporting roles and all of this and blah.
Wow.
But he's not in the industry anymore. You know, he's burnt his bridges. He literally left the industry. And I'm thinking in my head that if he had been consistent, if he had been like at it, he would have eventually gotten where he needed to go. It has nothing to do with destiny and fate. You just have to keep at it. And it takes time. Like people like Nawazuddin Siddiqui, you know, who's arguably one of the best actors India has produced. Nawazuddin Siddiqui had been working for almost a decade prior to his big film role as a theater actor. You know what I mean? George Clooney was like a TV success before he even became a movie success on ER. You know, there's so many international, you know, examples of that. In Pakistan, you know, Faisal Qureshi, television, arguably, in my opinion, waise to, one of the best actors Pakistan has ever produced. Faisal Qureshi had almost like a couple of flop films. He wanted to be a film actor, had a couple of flop films before he became a television superstar, because that's what he was meant to be.
Yeah.
But the point is that he's kept at it, was consistent. So all my advice, all I'm saying is to all the kids out there is be consistent, dude. Like, don't get disheartened if it's taking a year or two or, you know, 6 months or 7 months or whatever. If you really want this, just get it, man. It'll take a while, but you get it. You know what I mean?
I feel like
world class advice.
I feel like Salman, we should apply that to ourselves. We've only been at this for 8 fucking months right now.
I mean, 8 fucking months, but we're not slowing down, man.
And we ain't stopping anytime soon.
We ain't stopping, dude.
Hell yeah. Dino, we're approaching time. What's the one question you like to ask Salman and I?
Okay. Apart from me, of course, who's been your most favorite guest?
Favorite?
Yeah, like up till now. The one guest that really not only impressed you as a guest, but affected your mindset a little. You know, like sometimes you have a guest who will say something or share something where you'll be like, I learned something today. Like, was there a guest like that?
Learned something or had the most fun? I've got 2 answers for that. Learned something?
Yeah.
Okay, give me the most fun and then tell me something you learned from some guest.
Most fun, definitely Sanya Shahzad. She is a great friend of ours.
Love Sanya! She's my bestie!
3 hours dude, Dino, I swear to you, it takes like 20 minutes to film, but after the filming we talk for 3-4 hours straight on Zoom. Like literally we would chillings, was like we just had the most fun. Sanya's the great girl. But the person that I learned the most from recently, Sophie, she gave us a shit ton of business advice. Shit ton of business advice that we have definitely applied. We have applied and we've been fast at it.
I think there are very few people who come in and see ways in which they can help and then decide to apply that just out of the goodness of their heart. So 100% Sophie. But also, Saad, what was the name of that comedian we spoke to who just turned your day around, man. I remember you having a bad day.
That guy, Ryder Jason. We had
Yes.
we had this guy, TK. He was from New York. He was a stand-up comedian from New York. Dude, I was having a terrible day. I don't even remember what was going on. It was probably burnout or something like that. I came on. I was like, Salman, I don't want to do this episode today. He's like, bro, aajo koi kuch nahi hota. I came through, dude. That dude flipped my day around. Dino,
Wow.
I swear to you, my frown turned into a
It was
smile.
amazing.
It was
Wow.
amazing. He masterclass does.
That's awesome, dude.
So yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, dude. Thanks so much, Dino, for joining us. Like, this has been really cool. You've given good advice. You've given us like these cool insights that I don't think we would have gotten if we hadn't spoke to you. So it's really nice.
Yeah.
Thank you so much, dude. You've been
Yeah.
so much fun. And everyone else,
We're done.
please like and subscribe. We'll see you all next time.
Peace.
Thank you,
Adios.
guys.
Peace. Goodbye.
You guys are awesome. Thank you.